I understand you've just been involved in a presentation here.
I have, yes.
How was that?
Oh, it was good. It was fun.
What were you discussing?
Well, so my colleague and I have been doing some research about the daily deal space, and particularly we've been looking at the question of under what circumstances merchants who run daily deals get a profit from that or don't get a profit from that. So this is a question that's been around since the beginning of the whole daily deals phenomenon. But we collected some good data. We did a consumer survey, and we have some other data that let us drill down a little bit to see, what makes for a good deal and what makes for a bad deal.
And I imagine there's not much research out there because it is such a new industry.
There's not a whole lot. So there's been a lot of certainly a lot of speculation, and there are a couple things. There's a professor at Rice who's done some interesting work. This is the first time, though, that I think anyone has really systematically tried to gather some consumer data. So we did that combination of looking at archives of past deals and also asking consumers directly. So we asked them, when you redeem your deal, did you spend any more money than face value? If so, how much? And it let us find out some things that I frankly was genuinely surprised. It really challenged some of the conventional wisdom about what's important and what's not important.
And so, someone external from the daily deal industry, how have you found an event like this?
Well, it's very interesting. I tend to take a little more of a long view of this. I'm fond of saying that local commerce marketing has been around for 500 years at least, and so an interesting question to me is, why have things kind of exploded in the way that they have? Clearly they have, but the question is, what's so special about daily deals? I mean, because if you think about it, it's not, fundamentally, it's not technology. I mean, compared to 500 years ago, of course, but the technologies that have enabled daily deals have been around and really reliable for 5 or 10 years. What do you need? You need like a relatively simple website that can process transactions. You need emails, and then you need a sales force, and a lot of that can be done over the phone and fax and email. So, but clearly, this idea has struck a chord with merchants and with consumers. And so the question for me is, everyone is sort of hustling and running around trying to say, my daily deal is better than your daily deal. I'm somewhat more interested in, why do daily deals exist? Do they have to exist? I'm at the point now where begrudgingly I think Facebook is going to exist for sure, so it's hard to imagine. Oh, it's easy to imagine my life without it. It's hard to imagine, your life without it probably. But daily deals, it's less clear to me, and so I think it provides a lot of value in a lot of circumstances. But fundamentally, I think that the challenge is still really, what is really special about it, what's different about it, and if there's all this value being created, how is it being created, or maybe there are losers on the other side. So those are the things that I'm interested in. But I met a lot of really interesting, smart people, and I've learned a lot.
And obviously it's Europe's first ever daily deal event. So
Yes,
have you
yeah.
enjoyed the day? Found it valuable?
Oh, well, very much so. So the data that I collected and I presented today are based on the archive deals and surveys of U.S. consumers. So both in watching the presentations and in talking to particular individuals, I've learned a lot, some really surprising things about the ways in which deals are conducted in Europe. They're quite different from they are in the United States, both Europe versus the U.S. and also within Europe. And so I've really gotten a much broader view about the way things work, what the challenges are, what the innovations are here. So it's been great for me.
And in the industry itself, how do you see it developing over the next 12 months?
Yeah, so that's, I guess, the big question. I think that what you'll see is both from merchant standpoint and a consumer standpoint. I think that the early days of, if you sort of throw a deal at the wall and it's going to stick, those are I wouldn't say they're gone necessarily, but they're in decline. I think that because there's so many competitors, and they're all after the same set of customers, all after the same set of merchants, that the people who are going to succeed are going to have to really, credibly demonstrate how they're different. Now, they might be able to do something in a particular industry, whether it's restaurants or who knows what else, spa services. They might be particularly good at providing technologies, or they might do something else that is hard for us to foresee right now. I mean, this whole thing is 3 years old, and so if you think about, did the web in 1999 look at it? Well, I guess the web was 94. In 3 years' time, I mean, it's a blink of an eye. And if you fast forward another 5 or 10 years, it's radically different. So I think that there are going to be some big innovations that aren't fully appreciated yet. And one big area is I think that there are opportunities to integrate spending on daily deals, investment in daily deals for merchants with other things that they do for promotions and marketing. So the same merchants that might run a daily deal, they also do offline advertising, they do local advertising, they do all sorts of promotions. And right now, I think you see daily deals money kind of sucking money away from those places. But I think that there are probably opportunities to integrate that. That's my guess.